In this notebook, there are the memories of my great-grandfather, who was born in the town of Lubavitchi. Before the revolution, it was Orsha district, Mogilev province. And I also inherited his songs. I heard them from my father. His grandfather used to sing them to him. His grandfather, in fact, my great-grandfather, who was born and used to live his best years in the town of Lubavitch. In Lubavitch, there were small handicraft industries: shoemaking, tailoring, carpentry, hats, leather, bakery, meat, hairdressing, weaving finishing workshop, spinning workshop for making tzitzit, hopeful schmeine dicke tzitzis, forge, buggy drivers, balagulas. Cantor came there on Saturday. The representatives of the three most renowned and most wide-known Jewish professions, you certainly know them: a blacksmith, a tailor, and a buggy driver. When discussing his singing, everyone uses his own professional terminology. So, Cantor arrives at a small shtetl, a small town, as his singing is discussed by three Levites: a Schneider, tailor, a Kovalchiko, blacksmith, and a buggy driver, a Balagul.
Если команда форма отважена на клейште, ой, доле наш, ой, доле наш. Seinen gekommenen Herrn, die drei schönste Blaguatin von dem Städte, oi, die drei schönste Blaguatin von dem Städte. Der Zweiter, a Kovalchiko, und der Dritte, a kiedyś mi się zachwycić. Here is the buggy driver. Hey, hey, hey. Sojaci, mit Deutsch, euer Ruhig.
The Lubavitcher rabbis, the whole dynasty, was world famous already in the 19th century. Here is how my great-grandfather, who by the way worked as an accountant for the rabbi, describes the rabbi himself and his entourage. The Lubavitcher Rabbi Schneerson was from the generation of rabbis who moved from the town of Liozno, located 30 kilometers from Lubavitch. There was a Rosh Yeshiva, Central Theological School, and 7 synagogues in the town. Heutzer, the courtyard of the rabbi, occupied a large space in the central part of Shilovska Street, with a turn toward the market square, where actually the yeshiva was located. Many young Jewish people from all over the world studied there. People from Bessarabia, Finland, Lithuania, Poland, Russia, Ukraine came to the rabbi for advice, and they wrote to him letters. The address of the rabbi served even as lyrics line for some songs of that period. To the town of Lubavitch, Mogilev province, to the spiritual Rabbi Schneerson. Местечко рядом, Могилевскую губернию, духовному раввину Schneersonu. Местечко рядом, Могилевскую губернию, духовному раввину Schneersonu. Well, the rabbi had a synagogue and a separate housing for himself, for his mother, for his son Yosef Yitzchak, and for his family. There was also a kitchen and a dining room for yeshiva bochurim, the students of the Central Theological School. And he had his own well. The rabbi had a black phaeton drawn by 2 pairs of horses, and even a coachman in a livery.
Thank you.
Wow.
Well, the technological progress did not pass also the town of Lubavitch, because the whole life of the small shtetl, the small town, revolves about the rabbi. Jews, shocked by the first time seeing steam locomotive, rushed to tell their rabbi about this monster. So they keep telling him, but out of their old habit of, cursing and scolding up all sorts of unseen and weird things, they're cursing hill and down dale this locomotive, and so that it covers with the haze, and so that it perishes with the fire, and so that it flows from below, and so that it covers from above, and flows from above. Im Mirza Shem auf Shabbos, im Erwellen beim Reden sein, mir wollen ihm erzählen, was tut sich häufen wann. Oi, hat der Pfeifer mit an Eisenkehr, von unten gießt sich Wasser, von neben geht Rehr, verschadet soll werden, rot soll von Sinnen, von unten soll beim Gießen, von neben soll beim Rinnen. Oi, hat der Pfeifer mit an Eisenkehr, von unten gießt sich Wasser, von neben geht Rehr, gesodene Wasser ist bei ihm am Micheal, und die heiße Kehlen ist bei ihm ein Eichel. Oi, hat der Pfeifer mit an Eisenkehr, von unten gießt sich Wasser, von neben geht Rehe. But despite the irony that Jews could allow in relation to their rabbi, and with all the technological progress that didn't pass also the town of Lubavitch, the Jews secretly observed all the traditions that they absorbed with their mother's milk. You certainly know that his talis, every Jew keeps throughout his whole life, and after it, the talis keeps the Jew.
Sein Leben ist geboren. vor dem Alles, was lebendig, nein, nein, nein.
Every fall in Lubavitch, recruits from the 13 nearest regions of Orsha district were called up. The Black Hundred organization of Micheal the Archangel carried out anti-Semitic propaganda among the recruits. During the conscription period, Jews organized self-defense groups to prevent pogroms. I had 44 bulldog revolvers and 50 homemade iron-tipped whips in my house. One evening, they knocked on my door. The bailiff Klebanov entered.
Do you have revolvers?
Yes, I do.
Bring it.
I brought from the cellar a bottle of vodka in the shape of a pistol, uncorked it, and poured for the bailiff. The bailiff drank, sniffed the bread, straightened his cap, turned around, and left. Later on, I learned that the reason for the arrival of the bailiff was a tip-off of one girl who was jealous of me for my future wife. This girl knew that I had a cache of weapons. And on October 17, 1905, I led a dozen of self-defense fighters. A crowd of recruits attacked the house where we were. Our group began to shoot back. The constable came, and I told him that if he did not calm the crowd, our group will take over this responsibility, but then we're not culpable for the results. The order was quickly reestablished. In the evening of the same day, the buggy driver Riskin brought a message from Rudnya station that the Tsar gave freedom, the famous manifesto of October 17, 1905. The merciful Tsar issued a manifesto. The dead are all free, and the living are arrested. And on December 5th, 1905, two students from Smolensk University came to Lubavitch for revolutionary propaganda. They spoke in private homes. They spoke about private homes, about the executions of workers in St. Petersburg and the betrayal of the priest Gapon. The next day, in the middle of 6th of September of December 1905, when people went out of churches toward the market square after the mass, a tribune was built there from two sledges, one laid on one top of the other, and the speeches of the students began. The bailiff The bailiff Klibanov, having uncovered his saber, began to call on the peasants to arrest the students. The Freiston's barricade worker, Sholom Pesin, snatched the saber from him, wanted to bend it, and then started to hit the bailiff on the head with the handle of the saber. The bailiff ran to the post office. We understood that he is going to telegraph to chief police officer in Orsha and decided to cut the telegraph wire. I ran home and took a hacksaw, and my comrade Rosenblum grabbed a pair of reins. Throwing the reins over the telegraph wire, we cut it. Then I went to the bazaar, where we bought two arshins of red calico at 14 kopecks per arshin, put it on a stick, and started marching across the town, singing revolutionary songs.
Steht uns für alle bergisch Klagen, in Hunger leben muss und Not. Der Geist erwacht und ruft zu Waffen, zum Schlacht uns gieren dieser Gerät. Die Welt von Waldheit und Leuten zum Stern wählen mir und Bahn, zum Freiheit, Gleichheit, Akkanoiden, kränken der Arbeit Macht. Das wird sein unser letzter, unanschneidener Streit. International steht ihr Arbeit weit. Das wird sein unser letzter, unanschneidener Streit. Mit International steht ihr Arbeit weit.
Jews in Lubavitch fell in love with communist ideas of equality and brotherhood. They prayed for their victory in the whole world and thanked the God of the Almighty for them. All the same, it all still happened in the shtetl of Lubavitch.
Ich dank dir, Gott, was ich bin, ein Kommunist, ein Sozialist, und das ist doch nicht es ist, oi Happerei, Rebberei, frag dem Hemes auf der Welt, ich dank dir, was ich bin, ein Kommunist. Oi, mir ist gut, mir ist wel, mir ist dobrze, ein Kommunist zu sein, ich dank dir, Gott, was ich bin, ein Kommunist, ein Sozialist, und das ist doch nicht es ist, oi, nicht es ist, ich dank dir, was ich bin, ein Kommunist.
And the separation of children from their loved ones is always tragic, especially when it is forced. A young Jewish guy did not get benefits, and he sent thousands and thousands of kilometers away from his home to serve in the Tsarist army, to the Far East. So he says his last farewell to his most beloved ones, to his bride, to his sister, to his brother, to his uncle, And finally, he says his last farewell to his mother.
In tausend in einen neitschickten Jahr ist das gewesen a größer Nabor. Man hat genommen Soldaten von erster Gott und man hat sie ja weggeschickt in a dальнем Восток. Sei je gesund, meine liebe Kalle, du sollst auf mir warten, mehr der alle. Oi weh, Maminju, mit Tränen bin ich satt, ich habe nicht kein Gott, ich bin ein fertiger Soldat. Sei je gesund, meine lieber Brüder, Gott nur weiß, sie will mir sich sehen wieder. Oh, weh, Mami, mit Tränen bin ich satt, ich habe nicht kein Gott, ich bin ein fertiger Soldat. Sei je gesund, meine liebe Schwester, ich bin gewesen bei dir der Beste. Oi weh, Mami, mit Tränen bin ich satt, ich habe nicht kein Gott, ich bin ein fertiger Soldat. Sei je gesund, mein lieber Vater, du wirst sein von mir in gichen Potter. Oi weh, Maminju, mit Tränen bin ich satt, ich habe nicht kein Gott, ich bin ein fertiger Soldat. Sei je gesund, meine liebe Mutter. Ich bin gewesen bei dir, als una gute. Oi weh, Maminju, mit Tränen bin ich satt, ich habe nicht kein Gott. Ich bin ein fertiger Soldat. Ich bin ein fertiger Soldat. Oi weh. The son of the Lubavitcher Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak, the sixth Lubavitcher Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak, did not want a school for Jewish children in Russian to continue to operate in Lubavitch. Most of the population was dependent on the rabbi. Take, for example, butchers. If a rabbi says that this or that butcher prepares
his meat not the canonic way, no one will buy from him. From all over the immense land of Russia, people came to the rabbi for advice. Or for the fest of Rosh Hashanah, the new Jewish year. And Jewish youth came to study in yeshiva, the theological school, to receive a title of slaughterer, shoichet, or meire geroe, the spiritual rabbi. This brought income to Balei Afsanas, the owners of visiting houses, apartment owners, shoemakers, tailors, buggy drivers, balagulas. All this part of the population was to the side of the rabbi. The entire poor part of the population was in favor of having a school. Jewish population, just like any other population, divided into the rich and the poor. The special feature of Jewish tradition is to help each other, especially the poor, but always to remember that wealth is not a human merit, but is something transient and quite temporary.
Amor, man, je bent die kere das Quäntchen Sach, dort ist gekommen eine bittere Zeit. Die Rädere hat sich übergedreht und reinzett mit dem stolzigen Gewirr wir Bett eine Dove schenkt mir gelitten auf Meer, gestorben auf schwer, in fremde Nacht rief ihm liebte. Mit kein Geld wollen nicht stolzieren, ich kann es leicht verlieren, dann erkennen wir finden wieder ein Tor von einer Ohren Mann. Willst du sie, den Namen der Welt, so bleiben noch dein Starben, warf weg deine Busen, hieß es, ein Mensch,
Every Friday night, the teacher Elkin, Aaron Polachkin, Leib Epstein, and I gathered and wrote appeals to the Jewish population with calls to defend the school. In the autumn of 1913, the Marshal of the Nobility, Andrianov, came to Lubavitchi from Mogilev and gathered the Jewish population in the rural municipality.
I am surprised by the fact that among the Jews there are those who oppose the school for Jewish children. Even the peasants want to have schools, but the Jews, who are considered being more cultured, for some reason do not want to. I suggest that those who are in favor of the school go to the right, and those who are against to the left.
Almost everyone moved to the right, except for Naftali Freitzun, the owner of the bakery located just opposite the rabbi's courtyard, and Chaim Katznelbogin, whose children had already graduated from school. The school remains.
Das darf ein nur erkennen, ein darf kennen teuren. Wir haben sie gelost verbrennen, vor unsere heilige Teure. Man hat uns geblockt und gemartert, und man hat uns noch nicht geblattert, weil wir hielten unsere Teure. Ja, unsere Teure. Ja, unsere Teure.
Ja, unsere Teure. Unsere Teure. And in the winter of 1913, I had a dream that my wife and I are going from Lubavitchi to the estate of Gonorovo. This road is not smooth. It has 3 rises and 3 ditches. On both sides of the road, the rye has already ripened on the ascents, and in the ditches, on the descents, the green grass grew. When me and my wife went down into the second ditch, I saw on the right side of the road 2, maybe horse or cow, bodies with their skins torn off. One body was surrounded by a flock of black crows, and another one by a flock of black dogs. I left my wife on the side of the road and went to the specks myself. The crows scattered, the dogs fled, but the dogs immediately returned to their carry-on. And the dogs to theirs, and one dog just rushed at me and wanted to bite me. There was a stool near me. I grabbed it and threw it at the dog. The dog jumped away. I turned around, came back to my wife, and we both went home. When I woke up, I told this dream to my wife and gave it an explanation myself. There will be a war.
Steht vor die Augen aus, nicht zu vergessen, das weiße Stiebel in schmalen Gässen, das kleine Fenster von vorn und der Blick, was hat gewonnen, wart a Weile, will raus zu dir, zum Wald, zum Teich, lege sich Rosen, zum klare Wasser, zu euch Großen. A schöne Lied mit guter Wetter, pflege singen mein Beschwerde, gehen dick mit dir auf dem Spazier. Bei mir bist du schön, bei mir hast du Heim, bei mir bist du einer auf der Welt. Bei mir bist du frei, wenn willst du meine sein. Nur du hast den Leben mir gefällt. Von alle Engel wurde sie mir Kreuz geblieben. Du bist mein Einziger, ich will dich ständig lieben. Bei mir bist du schön, bei mir hast du Heil. Bei mir bist du teuer wie die Welt. Gerät das Städtelwort auf mich abholen, wird sein Achasene, Gorotschaft holen. Wir wollten sicher dich genommen, nur die Kriege sind gekommen und beide uns zersundert und zerstört. Wir lange Jahre gewähnt in die Trancheen, gespannt mit Biks in Hand durch Stäub und Regen. Ihr wart gehofft, daheim dich kehren, weil dir euch schon getrennt und wieder will mir werden, selber zwei. Bei mir bist du schön, bei mir hast du Heil, bei mir bist du teuer wie die Welt. Und keinem Lied allein verblieben, wo's halt so lieb gewinnen Teil, als Weg ist mit dem Feuer, geblieben in sie Poren nur bei mir. Teil, zu Fuß gebeugt, zwei Brennfunken, zwei klare Augen, was Fleggen scheinen, spielen, lieben, und zwei schmeicheln die Geliebten, welche bleiben mit singen Lied. Bei mir bist du schön, bei mir hast du fein, bei mir bist du einer auf der Welt. Bei mir bist du fein, wenn wirst du meine sein, nur du hast den Leben mir gefällt. Von alle Hingelig hat sie mich ausgetrieben, nur nicht was gewählt, mir sollen lange dich lieben. Bei mir bist du schön, ich sing zu sing allein. Das hab ich dann gespannt, sich vorgestellt.
My great-grandfather worked in Lubavitchi in savings and loan partnership. That was actually led by the sixth Lubavitcher rabbi, Yosef Yitzchok Schneerson. Once he made a remark to my great-grandfather that a Jew should not sit in a Jewish bank with his head uncovered. So my great-grandfather started to go to work wearing a cap. Next time, the rabbi asked for a report on the state of affairs in the partnership to be prepared for him. The further development of events, my great-grandfather describes as follows. I prepared the report and came to Yosef Yitzchok, who was 2 or 3 years younger than me. He had a big red beard, the size of Engels's. When I read the report, he stood up, grabbed his beard with his left hand, and said in Yiddish,
Reb Pinchas, es ist nicht angenehm in einer jüdischen Bank sitzen a Galuach.
Reb Pinchas, it is not acceptable to sit shaved in a Jewish bank.